United States Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow. She's also the author of Hate Won't Win. Find your power and leave this place better than you found it. Incredibly smart advice for us. Senator, it's always so good to welcome you to the Katie Fang Show. I wanted to start with a quick conversation about David Hogg's efforts to bring new blood into the party. Because when you announced that you were running for your state's Senate seat, you told NBC News that the Democratic Party's elder leaders, that they needed to step aside and let a new generation step up, and that the party has been worse off because of its inability to pass the torch. Talk about why it's so important for there to be a fresh take on what's going on right now.
So something that I think is really important is recognizing in this moment, this is not the political reality that I think many of our leaders came up in. This is not a normal Republican Party who is going to be a check on the president. We saw Lisa Murkowski admitting at one of her town halls that she is afraid and that many of her members are afraid. So this does require new leadership. I hope that a state like Michigan can be an example for our party to follow, where we've now had two cycles in a row, from Senator Stabenow to Senator Peters, recognizing that part of leadership is bringing the next generation up and giving them a chance. I also think it's important that we invest down ballot. That's something that I did through my PAC work. And as I think of what David Hogg is proposing within our party, I also think what that $20 million could do in state legislative races to bring new blood into the fold, to start running in Republican districts where we need to beat them and start building the bench of this party, so that when we have senators who decide to step aside, we have people who are ready to step up and lead.
So I want to see you on the national level, but I do want to ask you, though, why not stay on the state level, though? The fight is being brought to the states, as we've seen, because of a lot of these legal decisions that have happened. So why not stay in the fight at the state level?
So number one, Michigan has term limits, and I think that is a really healthy thing to bring new people into the fold. I am really proud of what I've accomplished here in the state Senate. I came into office flipping a Republican district, coming in to serve 4 years in the minority, introducing dozens of bills on every single issue I ran on, and finding myself stymied, but then being unwilling to accept the fact that we did not have power as acceptable. I opened a PAC. I raised millions of dollars in the wake of a viral speech that I gave in 2022 to support more than a dozen other candidates running for state Senate. And we flipped control of this chamber for the first time in 40 years. And we have passed sweeping gun violence prevention. We have repealed the senior retirement tax, expanded civil rights and voting rights, built tens of thousands of affordable housing units, and so much more. And as I think about what is desperately needed in Washington, it is more of that approach, that it is not enough to stand behind a podium and host a press conference and say, we're fighting, or we're going to wait and we're going to get them in the midterms. But recognizing that every single day you have power, you can organize, and you can take the power that you do not have to move the agenda that you know that people are crying out for. And that's something that I have a track record here of in Michigan that we need to hold on to in the U.S. Senate and move us into a generation that can fight the MAGA party and restore a new American dream for Michiganders and for everybody.
You were reading my mind, because that was what I was going to ask you about next. You're running on a campaign with a message of the new American dream. Explain to our viewers, what do you mean by the new American dream?
So I am a millennial. I am part of the first generation that by and large is going to do worse than our parents. I talk to countless people who say, I can't afford to buy a house. I would love to start a family, but I can't afford to. I am barely paying the bills. And when we saw the 2024 election results, I think we lost people who know who Donald Trump is, but did not see a path for them with the Democratic Party. So we're going to write that message right here in this campaign, laying out a vision for a new American dream that is centered on the idea of success, safety, and sanity, while acknowledging this is not about going back to the way things were. The status quo was not working for way too many people. We know that there is going to be rubble left behind by Donald Trump, but that this is our opportunity to build something new that actually delivers for people. And we're going to need a lot of people. So if you want to learn more, I hope that viewers will go to McMorrowformichigan.com and sign up to join us.
Before I have to let you go, I did want to ask you, Senator, there is something that I've always noticed about you, and you have been one of the what I call OGs, some of the original guests on my show. You're very authentic. People know what you're all about. Not only have you written about it now in your great book, but you always bring that transparency. Do you think that people will now understand what Democrats are all about? Because defining that, I think, has been a little bit elusive for the party lately.
I can only control our little corner of the world, but I really believe that in a state like Michigan, which is very likely going to be the most important battleground state in the entire country, in one of the most important Senate races in the entire country, we have the opportunity as Michiganders to write that future and create from this little corner of the world a new Democratic Party that people want to be a part of, that they feel like they are a part of a team, and that we are building something together, that it's not just enough to say, just vote harder in the midterms and we'll be there for you, that it's actually a positive vision that we build together.
Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow, I am grateful always for your time and for your advocacy and for being a friend. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Coming up, treated like a criminal, an American citizen recounts how he was treated after being detained by border agents while returning to the United States after a family trip, and his explanation for why he believes that he was profiled. His story is next.